Hey, it's Friday Coffee with Mortgage Man Eric, and here we go. Today we're going to follow up on part 2 of the 2-part series that I started last week regarding the most misused terms and mispronounced terms in the real estate and lending industry. Last week we talked about the real estate side of things, realtors, or real estate agent. Today we're going to dive into the lending side of the arena. And we're going to talk about MLOs, mortgage loan originators. What does that mean? If there was an umbrella here and the different caveats of types of lenders that fall underneath that, such as a mortgage banker, a mortgage broker, and I throw this other third caveat out there, for the FDICs, the large banks, because they're exempt from a lot of the things that brokers and bankers are not exempt from. Now, before I get into this, look, I'm not going to get way deep into the weeds and try to present some opinions of why you should use one over the other. I will save that for a rainy day. Another video, I'll dive into that and we'll open up Pandora's box, and it'll probably tick a few people off because obviously it'll be opinionated. But just today, we're only going to talk about the differences between a mortgage banker or a direct lender. They're synonymous. They mean the same thing. There's actually quite a few terms, synonymous terms that are used for us bankers in the industry. Or you have the mortgage broker, right? And then you have this FDIC caveat that's out there as well. We'll talk about that later. So, mortgage banker, what does that mean? That means we have our own employees within our own corporation or financial institution that underwrite your loan, that fund your loan, that draw the docs for your loan, our own compliance department, right? Our own HR department. We have our own employees that are working on your loan, okay? It's different than a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker, look, I've been doing this for 20 years. September, 20 years. Next month, it'll be 20 years since I've been in this industry. Oh my goodness. And I used to be a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker is a person that brokers. They don't have a big institute. It's usually a mom and pop shop. Maybe it's just them, or it's just a few of them. For 95% of mortgage brokers, that's how they operate. A very small little slice of the pie, if you will. So they broker out to find the consumer's best loan product. And they broker it out to another institution that they're not part of, if you will, right? Those underwriters are not their underwriters. Those funding department people are not their funding department employees, right? They're not underneath the same corporation roof, right? So a broker is just that. They're brokering the transaction. They don't have that kind of control over it, right? It's not their monies that they're using to fund the loan with. A mortgage banker, yes, they are our underwriters. I can call up Nikki at the corporate office and talk to Nikki on the phone, one of our underwriters, and ask her about the file that's going on. So there's that. It's our own doc drawing department, our own compliance department, our own funding department. I can call over and talk to Jenna in the funding department and ask her if we can, fund the Miller file on, the same day. Can we sign in at 8:30 in the morning and then fund it at 10 o'clock and get that kind of stuff done? So there's more maneuverability, flexibility, right? And like I said, I'm not going to dive too far into it, but just to kind of give you some examples, a couple examples, some discrepancy between a broker and a banker. When people call me a mortgage broker, I try to correct them without being offensive, right, and making it an awkward moment, because I'm not a broker. I'm not a guy that stands in line trying to find your loan a home to be underwritten and funded. We do that. My company that I'm employed at does all of it from A to Z, from start to finish, right? We have all the nuts and the bolts. So that's the differences between a broker and a banker. Now, like this third caveat that I was telling you about, the FDICs, ironically, are exempt from the licensing law. So back to broker and banker, back in 2011, via the SAFE Act, when they cleaned up the industry, and they needed to do so, right? When we had to go get re-educated, get licensed by passing a state and federal test, an FBI background check, a fingerprint card. We had to do those things in order to get our license so that we could write mortgage loans. Well, the FDIC, thanks to politics, facetiously I say that, were exempt from this licensing act in 2011, unfortunately. So they're not held to the same standards as the rest of the industry, and I think most consumers out there would find that to be ironic, because they would think, oh, B of A or Chase or whomever, they've got to be held to the best standards that are out there, and ironically, they're held to lower standards. They do not, they're loan advisors, right? Let's call them loan advisors because they're not mortgage licensed originators. They're not licensed. They're loan advisors, did not have to go through the state and the federal test, and amongst other things as well. Usually the CE, the continued education that we have to take every year as well. So we, brokers and bankers, usually classify them as customer service reps because that's kind of what they are. They're glorified customer service reps that are doing mortgage loans. Now, not all of them. There are a few here and there that are true loan professionals, but the majority, if you get the feel. That's why I kind of throw this little third caveat out there for the FDICs, because they're exempt from the same regulations and the same compliance issues that we are on the brokering and banking side of mortgages. So, with that said, there are the discrepancies between a mortgage banker or a direct lender versus a mortgage broker versus an FDIC lender. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit of it, and this is going to allow us to segue into another video down the road that could get maybe a little heated, right? Because I'm going to go in and explain why I think it's better to use a banker, a direct lender, versus a broker. Now, let's not get into it now, so don't get too excited now. With that said, it's Friday Coffee with Mortgage Man Eric. 602-757-2171. We'll see you.